I was 4 hours late to my wedding because of bicycles. It was quite memorable. Just ask my wife.
I think one of the most enjoyable experiences is when you're on a trail and you feel like it's always been there.
Changed my life. I mean, I went from, partying on the weekends to going out on these, 4 or 5 hour rides on the weekends.
It just makes me feel alive. And if I go many days without riding, I start noticing that I need exercise. And I've tried other forms of exercise, but nothing compares for me with cycling.
I know a woman who lives in Maumelle and rides to the state capitol every morning. There are people in the southwestern part of the city that ride into the city.
I keep cycling over the years because it is fun.
It's corny, but I had to actually fight back tears because I was just so grateful and so thankful to be able to be out there doing what I was doing with the people I was with and just seeing creation.
It really is a physical connection to the environment that you can't get anywhere else.
I don't think about why. I just ride because that's what I do.
If you look at the history of cycling, the invention itself, they almost got it right 100 years ago. The engineering or sort of the development of it, obviously there's still 2-spoked wheels, a saddle, handlebars. Generally there'll be like a double diamond frame. You look back at history and the bicycles have gone nearly unchanged. The user interface, or how easy they are to use, or people just to get on them, is completely different. They're a lot easier to shift, brake, they're more comfortable, and you don't have to be super cyclist guy to get on a bike and enjoy it anymore.
Well, the earliest cycling in Arkansas actually starts back in the mid-1880s. A lot of people had noticed that there was a beautiful lithographic print of Little Rock. And if you looked in the upper right-hand corner of that print, you would see something labeled bicycle track. At that time, there was a very popular bicycling club in Little Rock called the Arkansas Traveler Bicycling Club. And the bicycle races were held in an area called West End Park, which was a privately owned park, which now is the location of Central High School. There would be thousands of people showing up to watch the races at West End Park. Not only did it have a bicycle track, it had the largest grandstand in the state of Arkansas.
I was the generation we rode our bikes around this town, and the political climate today, nobody lets their kids really go around the corner without GPS tracker and phones and all that. So they never got to experience childhood like I did, where you literally used your bike to go somewhere and meet up. You didn't have your parents take you and all that. But now that they're all getting older and they're riding bikes again, and then we've got so much development down the river here, it's kind of starting to, I think, make an impact on the neighborhoods, and even in the city you see people on bikes using them for transportation, and that's what we all started doing it for.
Road biking has gotten to where it is very, very popular. Most people, when they think of getting into bike riding, that's their first thought, because we have the Arkansas River Trail, we have really nice places to ride. The mountain bike has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger just from people continuing to do it.
We are really lucky in Arkansas of the availability of trails. I mean, you can go just about anywhere, and there is definitely a bike trail of some type, or there's a bike event going on. I don't care if it's eastern Arkansas, south Arkansas, around Little Rock, wherever, there is always something cycling going on. Cycling has really become popular as of lately.
I saw a lot of the beginning work going on to many of these trails. You have the Big Dam Bridge and the River Trail. You have the wonderful trails up in northwest Arkansas. We have the mountain bike trails that are all over the state. Most of the trails in the state, I've at least turned a shovel of dirt or two.
Trail building for me is an instant gratification. I love being in the woods, and I think it provides that opportunity for everybody else that wants to be in the woods, and for everybody who hasn't experienced it, it's usually their first endeavor into the woods is to follow a trail and see where it goes.
Arkansas State Parks has really a lot of cycling to offer. Mountain bike trails currently being developed in several different parks. Those opportunities are there for people who want to come ride, and it's really great because that way you can come camp, you can get on your bike and go ride a trail, come back to your camp, and then just enjoy the natural park setting.
Well, we're at the Slaughter Pen Trail. Specifically, we're on the All-American Trail, and it goes right alongside the paved trail system that connects to Crystal Bridges. It's part of the Razorback Greenway, which is a 36-mile trail that extends from South Fayetteville all the way to Bella Vista. I think 5 years ago, or in 2010, we had 35 miles of paved trails in Northwest Arkansas, and now by the end of the year, we're going to have 90 this year. So there's been a huge building phase over the last 5 years.
Coincidentally, I was at the groundbreaking for the Big Dam Bridge. I was really uncertain what was going on because I really couldn't believe that they were going to put a multi-use pedestrian bridge on top of the dam. I was kind of, all right, you know, we'll see if this is really going to happen, and sure enough, it's happened.
What really, I guess, helped spur the desire and need for a bridge over the dam was the trail moving west on the north side. Once it got out there wasn't anywhere where to go. And so the idea of a bridge linking it where you would then create a 15.5-mile loop, that's a real convenient loop. And there are parks along the way so people can access it and go back and forth, but yet they're all connected. They're not left to a point where they just go stop, have to turn around and come back. And so when the bridge was built, all of a sudden people looked at it and said, you know, from both sides of the river, we're connected now. People are connected.
Yeah, riding out of state or talking to people about the riding in Arkansas, surprisingly enough, a lot of people couldn't point to where Arkansas is on the map, but in general, they will have heard about the Big Dam Bridge. We've got a lot of national level, national caliber off-road trails. So Arkansas is known as a cycling state, and that's changed quite a bit over the last decade. Ultimately, I think people recognize it as a great go-to destination for quality cycling.
Riding a bike is something that anyone can do, and it literally can change your life. I've seen people almost cure diseases and definitely lose weight, and it opens up your whole life to so much more.
It allows me to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. It's a social activity for me. I go out with my friends. We spend 3 or 4 hours riding, and then oftentimes go out for lunch.
You can't really see the true beauty in our state, and we have so much natural beauty out here. And you drive in cars around the state, and you still see beauty, but you just see it from a totally different vantage point. And as a cyclist, I'm seeing things that I never saw before, and I've driven some of these routes in cars for years. It's one of the things that if you ever have an opportunity to get on a bike and actually ride, you don't have to race, you don't have to be serious about it, where you can just get on a bike and just view the state from a different perspective. And I would encourage anyone who has an opportunity to do that.
I've been all over the country, and it's hard to beat Arkansas from a cycling, viewpoint. It really is.
I think the best thing you can do is just go ride your bike. Cycling is easier, and if it's easier, it's more fun for a lot of people. And if we could get our children back on bikes, and the parents and the adults, it's a different world again. I think it can happen still. I think it can definitely happen.
I just love it. I just love the feel of the wind in my face and seeing what's going on around the community and just exploring, and the camaraderie with my fellow riders as well. There's just so many different aspects to it that I really like about riding.
I was just amazed by the number of people using the trail. And I'm a retired physical education teacher. And so my role in that career was to get people out, get people enjoying the outdoors. Moves me to tears to see hundreds of people out on a Saturday. Little kids, bicycles, joggers, walkers. What can I say?
I think that's a misconception about cycling. There's no specific age. In the end, all of it leads back to being a kid again. It's really cool to see 80-year-old riders out competing or out enjoying it despite the weather, despite the conditions. Those are some of the more regimented, hardcore riders. So it's really fun to see, and I look forward to being able to do it for years to come.